Mapayapang hapon Pilipinas! Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, si Macuja Elizalde, na bumabati sa lahat ng nakikinig sa DZRH Radio at sa mga nanonood sa DZRH TV, lalo na sa ating mga kasamahang alagad ng sining at kultura sa buong bansa. In a world where knowledge has become just a click away, libraries remain as timeless sanctuaries kung saan nakasulat ang mga pahina ng ating kultura at kasaysayan. Here, you can still breathe in the scent of old paper, feel the weight and texture of rare books, and embrace the silence that whispers a timeless truth. That while information may be found online, wisdom resides in those manuscripts, photographs, and artifacts that are tangible, lovingly preserved, and thoughtfully curated. Sa hapong ito, sulyatan natin ang isang natatanging aklatan kung saan nagtatagpo ang mga pahina ng kasaysayan at ng makabagong panahon. Kaya't huwag kayong aalis. Samahan ninyo kami sa kalahating oras ng masayang kwentuhan kasama ang Executive Director ng Ortigas Foundation Library na si Mr. John Silva. Magbabalik ang Art to Art pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Programang hatid ay sining at kulturang para sa lahat. Magbabalik ang Art to Art.
Tinesting, sinuri, siniyasan. Ang resulta? Super effective ang Shield sa pagpatay ng bakterya at virus. Shield Antibacterial Soap. Believe ang mga eksperto sa Philippine Nurses Association. At si Mami.
Tiwala ako sa Shield.
Shield Antibacterial Soap. Napatunayang mabisa. Ang mga nurse, tiwala.
ACS. Hello, Washi! Laundry day na naman!
Yay! Anong meron?
Mancha ng chocolate, putik, may libag pa.
Kaya natin yan! With Pride Washing Machine Detergent, may triple stain-away formula. Tanggal ang makapit, madikit, at malupit na dumit mancha. Kaya easy-easy ang labada.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon.
All you need is pride. All you need is pride. ACS.
Usapang sining at kultura para sa lahat. Art to Art.
Nandito pa rin tayo sa Art to Art at kasama natin sa hapong ito ang Executive Director ng Ortigas Foundation Library, renowned art historian and curator, John Silva. Magandang hapon, John, and welcome back to Art to Art.
Thank you, Lisa. Good afternoon.
And you know, it's been 15 years.
That's what I was told.
Yeah, since you first graced our program. In fact, radyo pa lang kami noon.
Yes.
And you were a consultant for the National Museum at
Yes,
that
I was.
time.
Yes.
When did you join the Ortigas Foundation Library at ano ang mga naging major projects mo with them since then?
Well, I started 12 years ago with the Ortigas Library. And I think one of the first things I had to do was to make sure that the library was safe, because we had just moved all of the books of Mr. Rafa Ortigas to this new library.
I see.
We had to make sure that it was fireproof. We had to make sure that there was a process and a procedure, all of that. And then the process of bringing people in was the next thing.
Okay, so take us back then to the beginnings of the Ortigas Foundation Library. Paano ito nagsimula at ano ang mga layunin nito?
Well, Attorney Rafa Ortigas was an inveterate collector. He just loved collecting Filipiniana. And his most important feeling was that if he collected all the things that were Filipiniana and put them in a library situation, then people can read various ways that Philippine history has been treated and be able to come up with at least something that approximates the truth.
Yeah.
So that's what we have. We now have 30,000 plus volumes.
36,000 books and other historical materials.
I guess now it's gone that far. And also, there are not a lot, but more than a few people have already donated their artifacts and books and prints and maps and photographs to us for not only for safekeeping, but also to to be part of the research material that researchers need.
I see. Okay, so paano kayo pumipili ng mga aklat or dokumento na ipapasok sa inyong koleksyon? Do you wait for donations? Do you seek out certain objects?
Well, with Rafa Ortigas' collection, that started this major bulk of the collection.
Okay.
And then Mr. Ortigas started to buy big collections, which added. One of the most notable is the one by Professor Gregorio Zaide. Professor Zaide is
Professor
like
Zaide, yes.
everybody's
I studied
historian.
his textbook.
Exactly. So we have his incredible collection. And he was one of those that collected everything from stamps to laundry receipts and everything else. And we as a library have to keep them. And there's even so many undocumented or unpublished material that we still have to publish. So that was another big chunk. And then all these other smaller chunks of material that came in. And we have a budget to purchase modest amounts of books every year.
Okay. So, briefly, can you take us back to your own personal journey in art history? Paano nagsimula ang hilig mo sa arts, culture, and history? And how did you cultivate this over the years?
I think when I was living in the United States, being homesick, and also being a history major, I decided to collect old photographs of the Philippines.
Okay.
You'd go to all these flea markets and you'd buy these books and photographs for like 10 cents or a quarter. Nobody cared for them.
Yeah.
So I collected a big amount.
So you have a collection yourself?
I have a collection myself, but as I now look back, I feel intimidated because I have a 36,000 collection, and I feel like my collection is like puny, and I'm not sure whether I need to have them because they're always at the and more. It's always at the library. So I think it had to do with the start of being homesick and wanting to see all these old photographs again and keeping them.
Yes, that's right. And searching through the flea markets for those hidden treasures.
The search is really half the excitement.
Yes,
if
and
not
the fun.
more of the excitement. Yeah.
Okay. And where did you study in the United States?
I studied at Goddard, Cambridge. It's an experimental college in Boston, and it was a wonderful study. We had one professor. His name was Daniel Boone Shermer, and he was an author of the very famous book called The Anti-Imperialist Movement in the Philippines. He was a really charming man, and we would have our classes at his house, and or to his place in the Cape Cod, and I had a really wonderful time doing my master's with him.
I'm sure. Okay, we go back to the library collection. Aside from books and documents, I understand you also have archival materials and photographs.
Yes.
Yes, can you tell us more about that?
The photographs are now about maybe several thousand of them. And in fact, we have an ongoing exhibition of the liberation of Manila. And now we're going to have an exhibition on September 3rd on the liberation of Baguio using old photographs. Much of the photographs come from one of our trustees, Albert Montilla, who's married to Rosario Ortigas. And so we are really very happy to have that kind of collection. We are now beginning to get artifacts also from people who would like to leave us things that are historically important. For example, hats and uniforms and cameras and things that have importance to the Philippines. We have to be very picky because
So it's not just books and photographs now. You're actually going to have actual like items, right?
yes, because I think it's because people feel like we can take care of them. For example, a flag that has been collected by a Filipino from a Japanese soldier. he wants to make sure that it was taken care of. So
Yeah.
I think he's going to bequeath it to us for us to take, for us to restore, because we have a restoration lab.
Oh, wow.
We
Okay.
restore it, and then we will keep it or show it whenever the occasion arises.
I see, I see. And from all of the items that you have in the museum, what's the most like memorable or unique item, and what's the story behind it?
Well, I like very much the the map that we have. It's 16 feet by 20 feet. It's very, very big.
Wow, that's huge.
It's huge. And it's the copy of a map that in 1899, when Spain handed the Philippines over to the United States, there was some haggling over how much the United States would pay. So in Paris, the map was laid out, and every afternoon, the Spanish and the American delegation would go around and around and around this map, and then they would make an offer like, okay, today we'll buy the Philippines for $10 million, and the Spanish would say, no, that's too little. No, we don't want it. And so it would go haggling, or we'll pay you this much, but maybe no longer Mindanao. You know, it was a real haggling until finally the Spaniards almost gave up and said, and the Americans were now threatening that if you don't give us the price that we want, we're going to go to war again.
Okay.
So then the Queen Regent finally tells the Spanish delegation, no more war. Just give whatever it is that they want. So we were sold for $20 million, or as they say, $2 per person, because there were 10 million people then, to the United States.
To the United States. Wow, and it's all.
So we had there.
If that map could talk.
I know,
Yeah.
that's not cool talking. And you know, they sounded like as if they were having long lunches, and they're already half drunk when they were going around the
Going
map.
around the map,
You know,
yeah.
and figuring out how much to pay and how much they wouldn't pay, and that sort of thing.
And that map is prominently displayed in the museum?
No, we cannot, because
We
it's
cannot.
16 by 20.
Yeah,
We
okay.
do open it up when the occasion arises.
Okay, all right. Okay, so you mentioned earlier that the library offers conservation services.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on these? What kind of services specifically?
When I started at the library, we had a conservation laboratory that just did all of our old books, just the collection of ours. And that could last for 1,000 years. I mean, they were just, we would always need to take care of our books. About several years later, I realized, you know, I think the public would like to have their books taken care of.
Yeah.
So I did. I opened it up to the general public, and there were people who wanted to have their books, their photographs, their certificates, everything that was important to be restored and taken care of. Things were torn, things had holes in them. All of that would be taken care of. So now we have a very lively restoration program, and it is one of our biggest income earners for our foundation, for our library.
Fantastic!
Yeah.
Well, marami pa po tayong pag-uusapan kasama ang Executive Director ng Ortigas Foundation Library na si Mr. John Silva. Dito pa rin sa Art to Art, magbabalik po kami pagkatapos ng ilang paalala.
Programang hatid ay sining at kulturang para sa lahat. Magbabalik ang Art to Art. Schedule ng mga inaabangang konsyerto. Update sa mga magagandang panoorin sa mga tanghalan at teatro. Narito na ang Art to Art Calendar.
Narito ang ating Arts Calendar. Sa musika, inihahandog ng Music for the Environment and Nation Development o MEND ang pag-ibig sa tabing dagat, isang gabi ng awit at pagkakaisa para sa Limasawa Island sa Southern Leyte na mapapanood sa September 18 sa Music Museum Green Hills. Tampok sa benefit concert ang bandang Orange and Lemons at ang mga singers na sina Lara Maige, Gian Magdangal at Chris Go. Ang makakalap na pondo ay mapupunta sa ecological renewal ng naturang isla. Para sa tiket, bumisita sa Facebook page ng MEND. Sa teatro, inihahandog ng Repertory Philippines ang musical adaptation ng Alice in Wonderland, isang fresh twist sa classic tale ni Lewis Carroll na sinulat ni Janet Yates Voigt at Mark Friedman. Nagbukas noong August 23, patuloy itong magkakaroon ng palabas hanggang December 14 sa Rep Eastwood Theater sa Eastwood City, Libis, Quezon City. Sa direksyon ni Joy Virata at Cara Barredo, ang Alice in Wonderland ay kwento ng batang si Alice na mapupunta sa lugar ng kababalaghan kung saan makikilala niya ang sari-saring mga tauhan. Maaring bumili ng ticket sa Ticket World at Ticket to Me. Itatanghal ang unang produksyon sa Proscenium Theater sa Rockwell Center, Makati simula September 26. Ito ang The Bodyguard, the Musical, na handog ng 9 Works Theatrical sa direksyon ni Robbie Guevara at musical direction ni Daniel Bartolome. Ang stage adaptation ng 1992 film ni Whitney Houston at Kevin Costner ay nagtatampok din sa mga iconic hits na I Will Always Love You, I Have Nothing, at Run to You. Gaganap si Christine Aliado bilang ang singer na si Rachel Maron at si Matt Blaker naman ang bodyguard na si Frank Farmer. Maaring bumili ng ticket sa Ticket World.
Tinesting, sinuri, siniyasan. Ang resulta? Super effective ang Shield sa pagpatay ng bakterya at virus. Shield Antibacterial Soap. Believe ang mga eksperto sa Philippine Nurses Association. At si Mami.
Tiwala ako sa Shield.
Shield Antibacterial Soap. Napatunayang mabisa. Ang mga nurse, tiwala.
DZS.
Hello, Washi! Laundry day na naman!
Yay! Anong meron?
Mancha ng chocolate, putik, may libag pa!
Kaya natin yan! With Pride Washing Machine Detergent, may triple stain-away formula. Tanggal ang makapit, madikit, at madupit na dumit-mancha. Kaya easy-easy ang labada.
Mula noon hanggang ngayon!
All you need is pride. All you need is pride. DZS.
Usapang sining at kultura para sa lahat. Art to Art.
Andito pa rin tayo sa Art to Art at kasama pa rin natin ang Executive Director ng Ortigas Foundation Library na si John Silva. Okay, may mga publications din ang Ortigas Foundation Library. I mean, I think you've brought several of them now to our studio. Tulad nitong La Casa de Dios.
Father Rene Havillana.
Oh, Father Rene.
Yes.
Yes, he's a very good friend, family friend,
That's
very good
great.
family friend. Can you share with us the fascinating journey of this project from its initial concept to the exhibit that it inspired in Madrid?
Attorney Ortigas wanted to make sure that we document all of the churches that remained. There are about 3,000 churches then. I think there's a lot less now. And he wanted to make sure that they were photographed. And so he sent out a team to photograph all of these churches. And this is the basis for it. And I think it's really incredible. It's a good contribution to Philippine history because since then, there have been fires, there have been earthquakes, there have been so many things that have ruined many of our churches.
Yeah.
And now we have the documentation for all of them. So this is the book La Casa de Dios. And we do offer it, in fact, to schools who would like to have a copy. And we will send it for free. So they could ask for a book.
Okay. And it's a finalist in the National Book
The
Award?
finalist in the 30th National Book Awards.
Fantastic. Okay. But do you have a lot of art and cultural exhibits sa library? I mean, tulad ng inyong recent, I think you had a pen exhibit?
We had a pen exhibit. That was a very interesting exhibit. We also had an exhibit of Philippine basketball material.
Oh, wow.
There's
Okay.
this Philippine Basketball Association that approached us and said, we'd love to have use the library as. And I said to myself, Of course, they should. You
Yeah.
know, basketball is like really an important
Yes,
cultural
yes.
fair, sports culture thing. So, in fact, so many artifacts were presented and shown, and then there were speakers on various luminaries in basketball. So it was good. And so there are
Yeah.
many, many others. We had an exhibition on old toys, for example, and we also had an exhibition on anting-antings, on amulets. So I think it's a good thing to always present things that are related to books or to authors, to writings and history, of course.
And how do you decide on the themes of the exhibits?
Well, first we get approached.
Okay.
So, like the Basketball Association, I would never have, because I'm not a basketball man, but these people came up to me, very sincere, said, could we show? I said, why not? The Anting Anting is from a collector who loves to collect so much stuff, and so he had an Anting Anting collection. And then there were others who had books, and a lot of similarities to what we had.
I see. Okay. For first-time visitors to your library, what collections are a must-see?
Oh, well, let's say, first of all, they could start off with our photographs, and it's available to be seen. Sometimes you may need gloves if necessary. Some of our old books, which date back to the 18th century, again, gloves and a little bit of supervision, and make sure that they handle it right.
So just anybody can come in and look at these
Yes,
rare
for
objects?
so long as they follow certain rules.
Yeah.
Like, for example, their backpacks will have to be deposited in the
Of
front.
course, of
They
course.
bring in only just a pencil maybe and piece of paper.
No cell phones allowed?
We do allow cell phones, but I discourage them. I say, you're already here.
Yeah,
There are 30 plus thousand books.
Yes.
Please don't open your cell phone. But and they do.
Yeah,
And I think many
okay.
of those who seriously come into our library are not as cell phone manic as the rest of the country is.
And how does one use the facilities of the library? Do you have to buy a membership? Can you just walk in?
Unlike the United States or in other countries where you need to be a member, in this country, there really is no membership feeling. I accept anybody and anybody who wants to come and research. We have a lot of students who come in, especially from working class colleges, who would like to cool off in our library and be able to study for following exams or do their homework. We have serious researchers who've come up with wonderful books on Philippine history, thanks again, acknowledging us. And so there's no charge.
There is no charge to use all of those materials.
No.
Wow.
I've always said that I think that it is a public duty. It is important for people to feel like they don't have to be burdened, that it is for them. What happens is that we have a gift shop, and the gift shop is right there at the entrance.
Yeah.
And I always hope, and it does happen, that people do buy things from our gift shop, which then offsets whatever electricity and they're minor, such minor stuff.
Narinig nyo yan, mga kaibigan, libre po mag-research sa Ortigas Foundation Library. Saan po matatagpuan? Where can we find the Ortigas Foundation
We
Library?
are now attached to the new Green Hills Mall, and we are on the second floor above this Unimart shopping thing. And if you go up the second floor, you'll see right there that we're the library, and we are connected to the mall. So it's so convenient.
Wow.
And people usually, once they park their cars, they come, they see us, they walk in, and we are now really have a lot of foot traffic than before.
Being connected to a mall, of course, no? That's a blessing.
It sure is.
Sometimes
It
a
sure
curse, but a blessing.
It is a blessing. But I think people now understand that we should they come to the mall to buy, but they also, once they see the library, they say, why don't we have a little culture while we're doing shopping?
Yeah. Also, in your many years as an arts educator, paano mo nakitang nagbabago ang papel ng mga libraries and museums in the digital age, lalo na para sa mga kabataang audience, for the young? And what do we need to do to keep them interested in visiting libraries and such spaces where you can just do research the old-fashioned way?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's really tough.
Yeah.
It's an uphill battle to get people to free themselves from the cell phone. It's hard. And I think, to me, it starts off with parents who love to read and tell their children that reading is also essential.
Yes.
It's teachers who encourage reading, and it'll have to start from the older to the younger people, because technology is so exciting and enticing.
And just so readily available.
It is.
Yeah.
And even I Google.
Yeah.
I Google things instead of having to go through our index file. But it's important for young people to see that their father and mother read or get read to, and teachers are also encouraging to read, because or else it's going to be tough.
Yeah. Do you also do school tours in the library?
Yes, I encourage the schools to come and make them, show them what we have in our library. All sorts of people who want to do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And what are the library opening hours and days that are open? Are you tied up with the opening hours of the mall?
Except Sundays. So we are open Mondays through Saturdays,
Okay.
9 to 5, and but Sundays we're closed unless there's an important event.
All right. And at bago tayo magtapos dyan, ano ang mga upcoming events or projects ng Ortigas Foundation Library na dapat abagan ng ating mga viewers for the rest of the year from this month, September onwards?
Okay, from September 3rd onwards, we have now an exhibition on the liberation of Baguio. Baguio was the first to be bombed, and the war ended in Baguio, where there was a surrender process in Baguio. So we have all these incredible photographs, again from the Albert Montilla collection, on the destruction of Baguio, on the post-war reconstruction, and also pre-war Baguio. I think everybody loves Baguio.
Yeah.
And so to see this is, I think, going to be a very important historical thing for them. An upcoming is more about Philippine history. Again, more stuff that's going to go on in our library in the coming months.
Okay, fantastic. And before we close, I already invite you to our Florante at Laura ballet on October 3, 4, and 5.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's also a historical ballet.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will invite you now. Maraming salamat sa pagdalo niyo sa aming programa, John.
Thank you,
And,
Lisa. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for taking the time to share with us about the many educational and cultural treasures waiting for us at the Ortigas Foundation Library. My husband and I will visit your library very, very soon.
Thank you. You'll be proud of that.
Thank you. Hanggang sa susunod na linggo, samahan ninyo kami ulit dito sa Art to Art, kung saan ang usapang sining at kultura ay para sa lahat. Ito po ang inyong balerina ng bayan, Macuja Elizalde, nagpupugay sa artistang Pilipino.